3 reasons Trump is good for seller finance. This is not a political advertisement, but I'm a firm believer in finding things that you can use to your advantage. Clearly, there is a change in what the public was wanting in this election and what we can do going forward to not only take advantage of that, but taking advantage of the environment that we're in. Some of that we don't know, but some of it I want to give you an opportunity to say, how can I use a tool that you may not be using that you should be using? And so when I first started this process way back in the 90s, it was smiling and dialing, shoe leather, going to see someone. We didn't have the tools that we have today, like this, like a YouTube, like Zoom, all of those things, AI. And so I wanted to give you 2 things. One, why Trump is good for seller finance. And 2, ChatGPT, which we talk about a lot in my mentoring and with my marketing director, John. So we went into ChatGPT and we asked it, what are 3 reasons Trump is good for seller finance? Okay? Now, preface on this. ChatGPT is a tool. It's programmed, I think, by people. I'm not positive of that. But people will put different feelings, emotions, opinions into it. And I've certainly seen where that needs to be fact-checked as well. But let's see what it said. So the question was, what are the 3 reasons Trump is good for seller finance? So we asked ChatGPT that, and I'm going to read this to you. Here are 3 reasons why a Trump presidency might be seen as favorable for seller finance and less advantageous for traditional banks. Deregulation and pro-small business policies. Trump has historically pushed for deregulation, especially for small businesses, which could benefit the seller finance market. Fewer regulations may allow for more flexibility in financing terms between buyers and sellers without stringent oversight, making seller finance more attractive as an alternative to traditional bank loans. Okay? For banks, however, this deregulation means increased competition as more buyers may look outside the banking system for financing options. 2, tax policies favoring capital gains and investment. Trump's tax policies have tended to favor lower capital gains taxes and incentives for private investment. This setup can be attractive to sellers looking to finance the sale of their business or property directly, as they can potentially defer or reduce taxes through installment sales, which can be done through seller finance. Meanwhile, traditional banks might see a decrease in demand for their loans if more sellers and buyers prefer these tax-advantaged direct financing options. And then number 3, focused on interest rate management. Trump previously advocated for low interest rates to stimulate the economy. Low rates can reduce the appeal of traditional bank financing. We've already seen that, as buyers may find seller financing terms more competitive. Seller financing can offer flexible interest rates that align more with individual transaction needs rather than fixed bank rates. As a result, banks could see a decline in loan demand, which may hurt their revenue streams in the long term. Well, we've certainly already seen that. Essentially, interest rates have basically tripled, now maybe doubled from where they were. That cut back on a lot of PE activity. You could see that in the workload that was going through law firms and accounting firms, which is also advantageous to us. So this past week was week 1 of a 6-week live boot camp on seller finance. And I would highly recommend that you go ahead and look at that information. Go to brucewhipple.com, go to the boot camps and classes section, and then take a look at the seller finance. You'll go through a whole litany of information that's covered in there. It has been the most purchased course in the shortest period of time that I've done. I think that's because a lot of mentees question whether bank financing they can qualify for, and seller finance is a better option for them. And it's always my first option if I can make it happen, seller finance. So week 1 is done. It's been recorded. It's up in the Kajabi account. You can join us. You can be live for the next 5 weeks. We do not only me doing essentially a webinar class, and then we do a Q&A after that, both of which are live. But those would all be recorded, all be put up so they can be on-demand viewing. So if you are thinking seller finance is something you want to learn more about, go grab that course over, as I said, if you want, go.brucewhipple.com/seller finance. That'll take you there directly. Secondly, as much as we say this isn't a sales process, you are going to sell people everywhere along the way. So we did a sales summit. Many of you have that. If you have it, go back and look at it again. There are things each time you look at it that are different and maybe align with the step that you are at or the circumstances you're at. So go back. Just don't let it sit there. Go back and look at it again. And then for those that do not have it, it might make a lot of sense for you to have it. So over the next couple of weeks, look for Black Friday, Cyber Monday on that course as well. But initially, I would suggest that you join us for the live sessions of the seller finance. So take a look at that. But with respect to ChatGPT, super powerful tool. Again, it's a tool like any other tool. It has to be managed, but this is a good example of how my marketing director and I use ChatGPT very quickly to come up with 3 reasons why the Trump presidency could be good for seller finance. I think you saw an example of that. That's what I wanted to do. But use it more. Just don't do everything it says. It frequently starts letters. I hope this letter finds you well. After a while, you can recognize a ChatGPT or AI product. So put your own pieces into it, but it's a tool, certainly. So I hope that helps. I hope that you join us in the seller finance, and I hope you remember, if you don't have the sales summit, to watch in the next couple of weeks for that Black Friday, Cyber Monday special. But yes, I'm always looking at the current environment and not saying, oh, woe is me, but how can I use this environment to my benefit? And that is certainly true with the change in the administration that's going on right now.